Hello. I told you guys I would try to get back on and do another reading, another little follow-up on Idaho before Christmas. So here we are. We're going to be looking into a couple of things today. I want to try and work it backwards from right now and what the killer is doing right now. A lot of you have asked about that, and that's kind of putting an idea in my head of how to kind of weave it backwards and maybe try and find something out that way. We're going to look into the roommate who passed away. I did it a little bit in the last reading, but I want to kind of look at it from a different angle. So we're not going to look into the downstairs roommates, but I want to look at it as if I'm going to pretty much phrase my questions as if we were downstairs that night, what would we have heard? What would we have experienced? Try to read the energy that way. Because a lot of times if you kind of shift your perspective of how you're looking at something, it can kind of open up a window or door that you didn't see before. So that's the intention with that. And then drugs. I mentioned in the last reading that I believe the police are looking into that angle as being related in some way to the killer. Either his lifestyle or a factor in what made him do this, something along those lines. But I kind of want to look into that, and then we're going to do a police update, see what the police are focusing on right now. I have a couple decks that I haven't used for this yet. Showing you like examples. So I want to try and incorporate these. One's an astrology deck, and one's like a gypsy deck. It's like more direct, like man, woman. It gives you like pieces of the puzzle, so to speak. And then, yeah. And then this one just kind of has the energy of different elements that could be involved. So trying to piece the puzzle together in a different way that we haven't tried yet. We're going to start with the killer. I'm going to pull a couple from here and see where that leads us. So the killer right now, we have the Tower in reverse, the Empress in reverse, Ten of Cups in reverse, very interesting. So my last reading, I said that I believe that the killer's mom is getting close to turning on them. And this paints that same picture. He's scared of the changes that he feels are coming. Something about the dynamic of the family being off, or he can pick up on the energy. Something's changed within the family. And then this Empress in reverse, he feels blocked from the connection with his mother right now. Clarifier for the Empress in reverse. Two of Wands, about a choice. Yes or no? Should I do it? Should I not? And the Star in reverse, lost their way. So that was the clarifier for the Empress. So we have that he's fearing change. That either he's fearing changes that he sees happening in the investigation, or he's fearing the changes that he feels are happening in his family dynamic due to the lack of connection that he's feeling with his mother. Or maybe he straight out knows that she's slowly kind of turning against protecting him, something like that. Like there's something that has really switched in this motherly role, and the way that he's relating to his mother. My mom actually just texted me, so that's kind of a little confirmation, I guess you could say. And then we have the Ten of Cups in reverse, which is another confirmation that's telling us that something is off energy-wise in terms of his family. And then we have the Star in reverse, which is either he thought, okay, I'm getting far enough away from this, and now he doesn't, or he just feels hopelessly lost knowing that kind of the walls are closing in on him, something along those lines. But the Two of Wands is about the choice that he knows that his mother, because it's a clarifier for the mother in reverse, he knows that his mom is kind of weighing an option, weighing, should I do this? Should I not? What should I say? What should I not say? Something along those lines. That is his current energy. Let's see what we can get with these cards. Clarifiers for the killer's current energy. We have hand to hand shows a confiding disposition. It says friendship warms into love, but it was reversed. Favor found with superiors, but it was in reverse. So whatever favor he had due to some kind of connection is starting to, because of this Empress reversed energy, this card also came reversed. So whatever favor he was getting as like some kind of protection is starting to shift and change because of that feminine energy figure, which is likely his mom, but could be another aunt or sister. I think mom, but that person is making the choice, realizing that she can't protect him anymore. It's causing him to be very fearful and kind of lose faith that he's going to be able to get out of this situation. The walls are starting to close in on him. So whatever protection or favor he had is starting to kind of shift, and he's not going to have it for much longer. It also says financial success, but it was reversed. So I feel like it's the killer. I feel like it's his mom, who is either prominent or has a connection. Or no, I guess it would make more sense if it was the dad. Because financial success would be like if the dad was paying someone or rewarding someone in some way for kind of buying time and helping out the situation. And then like this card would be like if that didn't matter anymore because the mom is going to give information that's going to make it impossible to ignore what happened. Confiding disposition. So, and it's in reverse. So that kind of gives the energy to me, like confiding in a way that's not going to be beneficial for the killer. So giving information, telling something that they know. Maybe they could say that they found it out on Christmas. Maybe they're going to go that route. Like, oh, we talked on Christmas and then got this information or realized, and that's why we're coming forward now. That could be it. Let's see what else we get. Significant man, father figure, mentor. Thief, something taken away, injustice. Gold, money, gain, profit, success. It's not focusing, is it? Yeah. So it would be his father that has either the connection or the money or the influence or the position of authority, something like that. It's the father that has the connection. So how do I say this? So essentially it's the father that is in some way, and maybe unbeknownst to the investigators and police, but in some way is buying time or is behind the scenes directing something that's causing this to not come to a conclusion yet. And the father is using whatever he has to either buy time or try and protect his son. But the mother is stepping forward and she's going to give information that's going to make it impossible for them to give the same privilege to the father through that connection or whatever that is. us. Successful ventures in business and love. If near unlucky cards, a breach of trust. A breach of trust. Anchor, family is our anchor. I'm sure you've heard that. Family connection is our anchor. A breach of trust. And then the other one was acute illness or property loss. They're going to lose everything when the mother... You know, in my last reading, I said I feel like the parents may leave the country after the arrest of the person who did this. Because I don't think that they're going to be charged with anything, because I think whatever that privilege is protecting the parents from getting charged even after we find out who did this. There's going to be plausible deniability that they didn't know anything. Why do I feel like they're going to say they found out on Christmas or something along those lines? Like family time, gathering, they could say, oh, we didn't know till then, found out then, turned them in right away. Because that would fulfill them wanting to wait till after the holidays. That would fulfill them buying a little bit of time. And that would be a good excuse. Well, how do you know now? Oh, well, we were all together for Christmas and we pieced it together. Or whatever holiday they celebrate. But yeah, property loss. And then it says possible to avert evil. So it's like the mom's taking one route and the dad's taking another route. The dad still wants to protect the son, and the mom is like being pushed into a corner or backed into a corner, which would make sense too if it was the dad's connection or the dad's authority or the dad's whatever it is. If that's coming from the dad, that would make the mom feel less safe because she's not the one with that connection. And if it gets found out that she knew more than she said, or that she held something back from police, then she would get in trouble, which may be why she's coming forward or beginning to come forward now. I'm just going to pull 3 clarifier cards about everything that was just said. 8 of Pentacles in reverse. So that's kind of like all the hard work that the dad was putting into protecting the son is kind of just being, ooh, because the mom is going to do something or say something, or, you know, it might not. Maybe it won't come from the mom directly. Maybe it'll come through another source. No. It's either going to come through the mom directly, or it's going to be like the mom sends someone to do it for her, but like in a way that it's coming from her. She just can't be the one to do it, but she doesn't want to get in trouble by holding back information. It could be something like that. 8 of Cups. Moving on from something that's not going well. And Page of Swords in reverse. So yeah, the 8 of Pentacles is like someone's working towards something and someone else is working against something. Like 2 sides of the same coin, where the one is trying to protect and the other one's trying to, or is beginning to realize that they're not going to be able to put up this charade for much longer in terms of protecting the killer. I keep getting the 8 of Cups. I really feel like this mom is planning on kind of saying her piece and then getting out of the country or leaving. It's a very weird energy. It's like the parents of this killer are on the verge of splitting up from this, but they can't show that to the world because, you know, that'll kind of make people look at them like, oh, what's going on there? Why would they break up during this time? And maybe they wouldn't, but like that's what they're thinking. There's definitely problems between this killer's parents right now. And I guess it could be a step parent. I'm not sure. But whoever this person's main parental figures are, they're having trouble between the two of them. Because the dad wants to keep pushing to protect, and the mom is like, we just can't get away with this anymore. Like, we have to say something. The Page of Swords is like a lack of planning ahead, or a lack of... It's almost like the dad is saying to the mom, like, oh, you need to think ahead. Like, this seems like a good idea right now, but look into the future. What's going to happen in the future? Like, take it step by step. Look ahead. And the mom's like, I can't see another option. I can't see another way. Like, she doesn't want to turn against him, but she feels like she's backed into a corner where it's becoming increasingly obvious. And if she's not the one with that connection or the protection, she's starting to recognize that I might go down for this in some way if I don't say something, especially because it's not her connection that's keeping them protected, it's his. Yeah. It's almost like the dad is, or the father figure, whoever it is like kind of thrown insults at the mom, like trying to get her to change her mind, but like in a way that he's just insulting everything that she does and says, like trying to get her, from his mindset, he's trying to get her to see how stupid it sounds to turn him in. Because the dad has that, like, it's us against the world now attitude. And the mom is like, the world is watching and they're not dumb. So they're starting to piece it together. And she just wants to get ahead of it. Yeah. Okay. Next we're going to look into... So there's a roommate who passed away. She unalived herself. I think it was like almost a year before this happened. Or maybe that was her birthday. It was either February or November. I can't remember. It was one of them, but it was fairly recently that happened. I looked into this in one way in my last reading, but I want to look into like just her death and what happened. So first we're going to look into the 2 weeks prior to her death. What was her energy, or what was going on at that time? The Moon and the Knight of Swords. Somebody was being very aggressive with the way that they were talking to her, in terms of either saying, I'm going to tell people this, or it could be something like, you know, everybody thinks of this of you or that of you. It's something along those lines was coming from somewhere. And the girl who passed away, the roommate who passed away, she was not telling everyone what's going on, or she was not telling everyone everything that was going on. But even if people knew that she was being bullied or something, they didn't know the half of it. Like, it was much worse than she was letting on. She was keeping a lot of it to herself. But it was getting worse. Something had been causing it to get worse. Hold on. Queen of Wands. Yeah, there's something that she didn't want people to know. There's something that she didn't want people to know about. And somebody was like teasing that they were going to expose it. It could have been just like an insecurity that somebody was like like leaning into to try and hurt her feelings, or it could have been like, oh, I'm going to tell everybody about this. Everybody already thinks this of you. Wait till I tell them this. Or if you don't do this, or if you do this, or if you don't say this, or something. Seven of Wands in reverse. She saw something that she wasn't supposed to see. Yeah, I'm starting, my eyes are trying to get watery. The roommate who unalived herself saw something that she wasn't supposed to see. And somebody was like very aggressively turning up the notch of bullying her, using something that she didn't want other people to know. It wasn't like something that she did bad. Like, she walked in on something that wasn't good. Something that she wasn't supposed to see. And whoever the main person that was bullying her, their way of trying to get her to not say anything to other people about what she had seen was to be like, I'm going to tell everybody this, or I'm going to say this about you, and everyone's going to believe me because blah, blah, blah. So she, essentially, the bullying was amped up in the 2 weeks. Did I say 2 weeks? 2 weeks, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks prior to when she passed away. The bullying had been amped up because she walked in and saw something that she wasn't supposed to see, and somebody was like a mental warfare, like trying to weaken her mindset so that she wouldn't say anything to other people about what she had seen, because then whoever was bullying her was going to tell people something about her. Whether that was true or not, that's what was going on. My opinion. But she was very overwhelmed. Like, it was like she was getting bullied for some time. So it was like she already had that social anxiety. But then she walked in and saw something, and somebody was like, I'm going to make this 10 times worse. I know you're already socially anxious. I know you're already worried about people think of you. Wait till I tell them this. If you tell anybody what you saw, I'm going to tell everybody this. And it was like it just kept, like, every time they saw each other, whoever it was that was really bullying her, whoever that person was, every time they saw her, it was like giving her the look like, if you say anything, I'm going to ruin your whole social life, because I'm going to tell people this thing that you don't want anybody to know. Or it could have been untrue, but like, you know, everybody will believe me because everybody likes me and not everybody likes you, that kind of thing. But the Seven of Wands in reverse is like admitting defeat. Like, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. And then we have the Chariot in reverse, which is like things were not getting any better. Things were actually progressively at a standstill and then got worse. Like, think of it like someone like pouring a bucket of water in your head and then all of a sudden just dumping it on your head. Like, that's what was happening, and it was all because she walked in on something that she wasn't supposed to see. Like, she was, the roommate who passed away was like the fly on the wall. But there was a lot that was hidden from her, knowing that she was the fly on the wall. Like when whatever this was that she walked in on, she was not expecting it. Like, it was something that really shook her. And that's why it was such a big deal. Because she knew about some little things, but this was kept very secret from her, whatever this was. And she walked in on it, and I don't know if she had someone that was like watching over her. For some reason, the person who was bullying her knew that they couldn't do anything to her. But I almost feel like they knew that she was weak enough that if they pushed her to a certain extent, either she would do what she ended up doing, or they felt like they could push her to a certain point where she would come off as crazy, and then if she said anything, people would be like, oh, she just snapped. She doesn't know what she's talking about. One of those. I'm going to pull a couple of these about the roommate that passed away. Blonde woman. Unreliable, changeable, outrage, more, expansion, growth. This is someone that either looks like a friend from the outside, or was supposed to be a friend, or was in the position where they were supposed to be at least friendly, but they weren't. And this is someone who their persona changes or changed based off of who they were around. So this person may have been more nice to her in private and then bullied her or was passive aggressive with her when around other people. But the roommate who passed away definitely saw this change in energy in that person. Like, she kind of came to expect that, oh, if I see this person and she's alone, this blonde woman, if I see this blonde woman and she's alone, she'll be nice to me. But if I see her around her friends, she's gonna act like I'm a nerd or annoying or something like that. Like, her personality was very, it's almost like a friend out of convenience. Like, if she needed a friend, she would go to the roommate that passed away. But like, if anyone else was around, she had to put on a face of being that passive aggressive or even outright aggressive persona towards her. Oh, so then when she walked in on something, she stopped being nice to her when it was just them two. That flipped, that switched. It was that, so essentially like a mean girl personality when other people were around, but like an undercover nice girl, or like friendly-ish at least when nobody else was around. But after she walked in and saw whatever she saw, that mean girl attitude was through and through, like on both sides. Even when they were alone, she was a mean girl after that. Clarifier for the blonde woman card. Brown-haired boy. Resignation from obstacles or events and flattery. It's a really creepy looking jack. Brown-haired boy. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Queen of Cups in reverse. Five of Cups. Oh, flattery. Five of Cups. Queen of Cups in reverse. It is connected. girl who passed away, is her family looking, like, are they not accepting this as like, are they looking into surrounding events in her death? What I'm getting is this. Hypothetically, my opinion, let's just say the roommate who passed away walked in on a blonde girl and a brown-haired guy doing something that they should not be doing. Something illegal, something immoral, whatever, I don't know. The roommate who passed away, let's say she walked in on that happening. Let's say that this brown-haired boy is the one who had the hots for Maddie or Kaylee. So this brown-haired boy and this blonde woman are in a room doing something they shouldn't be doing. The roommate who passed away walks in, sees that, and then that bullying ensues to try and get her to keep her mouth shut. So the bullying ensues to try and get her to keep her mouth shut. And then she passes away. She takes her own life. This brown-haired boy knows that it is at least partially due to this blonde woman putting pressure on her to not talk about what he knows that she walked in and saw. So now this brown-haired boy is feeling kind of guilty for this girl taking her own life because he knows that it stems back to, at least partially, whatever she walked in and saw. So then either that was the factor that kind of pushed him to kind of start to mentally pull away from reality, or it could be that he's trying to cover his tracks and make sure that he's not going to take the fall for whatever it was that she walked in and saw. Because the only other person that would know about that would be that blonde woman. And especially if people are looking into what happened and the surrounding events, it might still be that passion, but it may be passion in a different way than romance. Hold on, I was getting a phone call, 1 second. Okay, my parents just got here. Let me get myself refocused. I guess we would need to know what the girl walked in on. What did she see? What can we know about what she saw? Ten of Pentacles. King of Swords. That's the connection. King of Swords. The girl who passed away, my opinion, allegedly. The girl who took her own life walked in on a blonde woman and a brown-haired boy doing something related to money, like the root of, how do I say this? She saw the root of some kind of operation. Like she saw something in action happening. And that person that she walked in on, the male figure, is the one who did this. Yeah, that's really what I'm getting really strongly. Let me pull a couple clarifiers. Clarifier for the Ten of Pentacles. So the Ten of Pentacles is where we're getting the root of an operation from. She saw something in action, something relating to money that was going on. Discovery of a mystery for the better, but it was in reverse. So discover of a mystery for not the better. It says complete fairy tales on the cover of the book on here. So it came out like this though. So it was a mystery that was supposed to be kept a mystery because it was bad. Clarifier for the King of Swords. Dire misfortune and fierce enemies. And we have two birds. Like this is like the roommate walking into the room, and this is the other energy. Dire misfortune and fierce enemies. She made an enemy from walking into that room. Which would lead me to believe it's less about that person feeling bad and more about that person having something to lose and not wanting this information to get out. I wonder if that's why this happened around the date it did, because November 15th was either the girl's birthday or the day she died. I can't remember right now. But November 15th was important, and this happened on November 13th. That's not a coincidence. Interesting. I need to digest that a little bit more. So let's move on to the next one. Ten of Pentacles makes me feel like the killer in his mind felt like he was protecting whoever his connection is. Whoever has that power or authority or whatever it is that's protecting him now, he convinced himself that he was protecting them by making sure that nothing could come back to him from that girl's suicide. Sorry, I'm just taking a minute to process this because I didn't see this coming at all. Makes sense. Didn't see it coming. Okay. Let's reroute to the downstairs. Now, I saw something that somebody said, somebody who claimed to have been in the house before mentioned how the house is kind of old and crickety. I forget what word they used. But essentially they were saying that it'd be unlikely for you not to be able to hear something like that happening upstairs. All right, let's pull cards. So let's say we were standing downstairs on the night of the murders. we're putting ourselves into the roommate's shoes. What was the, how do I word this? Did the roommates receive any signs, messages, see anything, hear anything prior to the attacks beginning? Ten of Wands, heavy burden. Nine of Swords in reverse. So the Ten of Wands can also be about a struggle. And then the Nine of Swords in reverse. Huh. It's like bringing an end to a mental torment. I told Adam everything. I wonder if Adam has a connection to that roommate. What if we're looking at this in slightly the wrong way? So if this wasn't just romance, like it's passion, but it's passion for a different reason. It's passionately trying to protect himself, passionately trying to protect his name and the reputation of whoever he's connected to. So if Maddie were to tell Adam everything, and that everything actually pertained to what led to that roommate taking her own life, and that got back to the killer, he would need to silence that person in order to protect his name and reputation. Maybe it had been on the girl's mind bothering them because it's nearing the anniversary, or was the anniversary, or was near the anniversary of it happening. Sorry, I'm trying to like wrap my head around this because this is quite the curveball. It's the pieces of the puzzle are starting to like come together, but they're not all the way there yet. But Nine of Swords in reverse is like recovering, like something happens, like cleaning up a spill. So if someone's spilling their words out and that gets back to the killer and the killer's like, she said what? People are gonna, yeah, holy crap. Huh. Okay, so that's prior to the attacks. So prior to the attacks, I would say that the downstairs roommates, is it possible they had gotten some kind of word about whatever Maddie had said? Okay, this is my opinion. The people that are not talking, that we feel like, why aren't they talking? They should be saying something. They're protecting themselves from whatever it is that this roommate initially walked in on. I'm not necessarily saying that they have information on the murders, but I'm saying that the people who are being oddly quiet are being that way because they're in some way involved or related to or could go down from whatever it is that this roommate walked in on and saw that initially caused the increase in bullying that led to her taking her own life. While the attacks were going on, the roommates downstairs, Ace of Cups, Six of Pentacles in reverse, Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So the Ace of Cups is flowing emotions. Crying, freaking out. Maybe not upset, maybe scared, but there was an outpouring of emotions that just happened to be taking place while these murders were taking place upstairs in the same house. Take from that what you will. The Six of Pentacles in reverse is about a debt. A one-sided, you owe me, or, which is what I said that the killer's mom was, her attitude was. Like a you owe me attitude. And the Six of Pentacles also brings in the element of a power dynamic. So somehow this person had power over those downstairs roommates. Dirt on them, a threat, exposing them in some way. I guess it could be like literally silencing them somehow, but I'm feeling like it's more like something that could be used against them in some way if they were to talk. There's like a weird code of silence that goes on in this area. And then the Wheel of Fortune is about things taking a bad turn. So I understand that a lot of you are going to say, but they're cleared, they're cleared. And from the very beginning, I said that I believe the roommates heard something, and this, for me, confirms it. Maybe they didn't know that the people upstairs were being stabbed. Maybe. Maybe they didn't, maybe they did. I don't know. But they knew that there was something going on that was related to the girl who had taken her own life happening in that house. You can't convince me otherwise. My opinion. Allegedly, my opinion, all that, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I think. So the roommates, the surviving roommates, the next morning, they woke up like somewhere around midday and go upstairs and are unable to wake the roommates or something. There's some talk about what exactly happened. I want to know the energy an hour prior to them going upstairs that day. The Sun and the Four of Pentacles. So an hour prior, I would say that they were sleeping and they woke up within that hour before going upstairs. Like, what I'm saying is I don't think they were awake all night. They had gone to bed. And if they had heard something and then went to bed, it leads me to believe that they felt like they were not going to be part of whatever happened. They were not on the receiving end of that debt that was being paid out. And then the Four of Pentacles is really about being guarded and like looking ahead. So it's like, okay, so let's just give them the benefit of the doubt here and say that they heard a noise but didn't know that the people upstairs were going to be brutally murdered. Maybe they thought they were going to get beat up. Maybe they thought they were going to be threatened or talked to or roughed up or something like that. But they knew that they weren't going to be in danger from that happening. So they were able to go to bed. They woke up within that hour before going upstairs. I'm really feeling like they, allegedly, I feel like they thought that they were going to get taught a lesson for talking. And so they were able to just kind of go to bed. And then when they woke up the next morning and went upstairs, they realized that maybe wasn't the lesson that they expected to see. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't think it was. But I do believe that they knew that something was brewing upstairs, but they knew that they were safe from it. So I'm sure that upon finding the bodies, either if they saw them or if they didn't see them, maybe the doors were closed. I don't know what happened, but I'm sure the two roommates had some kind of conversation prior to running outside and calling people and all of that. What was the conversation, if any, between the two roommates after finding what had happened upstairs? Three of Swords. Three of Swords. Yeah, there was one target. The roommates only thought that one person was going to be taught a lesson. Knight of Cups in reverse. Yeah. Allegedly, my opinion, I believe the roommates had some kind of heads up or something that somebody was going to talk to whoever, Maddie. So if Maddie had said something about Kaylee, this is really hard because I don't want it to seem like I'm like talking bad about any of the victims. I truly am just trying to figure out what happened. So if the roommates came upstairs thinking that there was going to be maybe a fight or an argument, or somebody was going to be somehow taught a lesson because they had said something that they shouldn't have, which could have been what Maddie said, or it could have been something that Kaylee told Maddie that Maddie shouldn't have even known in the first place. And that doesn't necessarily mean that Kaylee or Maddie was that blonde girl that was bullying. It doesn't necessarily mean that. It could be that that person told something to them and then they spilled the beans and that's what caused this. It could go either way. I don't want to say that I think it was definitely them because there's other options that it could be. But it's relating to whatever was said that night, and whatever was said that night is relating to the girl that passed away and what she walked in on. And it just set off that person because it could either ruin their reputation, ruin their future, ruin the reputation of that person, whoever it is they're connected to. All right, let's move on from that. Now we are to drugs, which now this makes this very interesting. How should I look into this? guess we can go with the obvious question. Does drugs have anything to do with what the roommate walked in on? Nine of Wands in reverse. That's the struggle. Five of Pentacles. Yeah, it was threatening somebody's money that they were making. It's money that somebody was making. See, these cards aren't saying it's definitely drugs to me. But there's some element of making money that would be threatened if the roommate who passed away, if she had told somebody what she saw. Is that probably drug related? Probably at least partially, if not more so. But there is other options it could be as well. But whatever it was something that was bringing in money for the people that were involved in it. Likely in a way that wasn't something that they necessarily wanted to brag about. Something like on the down low, something hush hush. Yeah, the Nine of Wands in reverse is like defensiveness. So maybe it was like they tried to convince her, oh, that's not what you saw, that's not what you saw. And she was like, because the nine's also stubbornness. So she could have been like, you know, I don't think that's what you should be doing. I don't want you doing that. Or I'm looking out for you. Or maybe it was, I don't know what it was. I feel like she was very non-confrontational because she had been bullied so much. So I don't see her being like, oh, I'm going to tell everybody. But I see her maybe trying to be like, I don't think you should be doing this. And then you're better than, I'm hearing you're better than this. You're better than this. As something that the roommate who passed away would have said to the blonde woman. You're better than this. That's as far as I want to go in that category. Okay, a police update. What is the main focus right now for the police and investigators? Temperance. Six of Cups. That roommate. They're looking at that roommate's death. Which is ironic because that would mean that the boy, the guy who did this, was trying to protect his name from it coming out in connection to that roommate who passed. And it's essentially doing the opposite because now they're looking into it more so. Which is really how the universe works. So that would make sense. Yeah, because the Six of Cups is like being stuck in the past, looking into the past, friendship, connections from the past. Oh, in my last reading, I said they're looking into relationships that didn't end well in the lives of the four roommates. That would be a relationship that didn't end well. And then Temperance is really representing the roommate who passed, like the angelic figure. And the cups, one cup is pouring into the other cup. It's like one event overflowed and poured into this event. Let me get clarifier for Temperance, which I believe is representing the roommate who passed away. is reversed. The S-C-Y-T-H-E, the scythe. Disappointment. And when near the coffin and early death. And it was reversed. Presages disappointment. Yeah, disappointment would be like her saying, you're better than this. But it was reversed. Huh. And then 10 is the cycle of completion. But it's like when she passed away, that didn't bring actual completion to the situation for the killer, because there was still somebody else that knew that her death was likely linked to her walking in on him and the other person doing something. Again, this is not me trying to tarnish anyone's name, because again, this blonde girl might not have been one of the girls. It may have just been information that the blonde girl gave to one of the girls. Maybe because they were roommates, she was trying to help with closure. Or it could have been one of the girls directly. I don't want to say anything bad about someone who's passed away. Especially not in a brutal way like this. But I am trying to get to the truth of the situation. So, that conversation that Maddie had was either about Kaylee or about something that Kaylee had been told. And it had to do with what the roommate walked in on. Clarifier for the Five of Pentacles. Embarrassment and an obstacle. Element of earth, and we have the Five of Pentacles, which is also an earth element. It says bastard, which in this case would confirm the parents not being on the same page. Like, I'm not saying literally calling him that. I'm saying it brings the energy of separation there. And then imagination and fantasy. Thought he was going to get away with it, thought he was in the clear, but then he's realizing that someone's out running their mouth about the situation, and it could end up going back to him because everyone in the town was talking. And embarrassment would be, well, kind of obvious, but like not wanting people to know whatever it was that was the secret there. And then the obstacle would be the obstacle that could be presented to his finances and his social reputation if the person told whatever she had seen. Clarification for the Six of Cups. The book presages the discovery of a mystery affecting the person for the better. The degree governed by the distance from the person. So it's right on the Six of Cups. So and it was in reverse. So the discovery of a mystery affecting the person for the better. The discovery of a mystery affecting the person for the worse. On that Six of Cups. Six of Cups is also about memories. So it's... So if this wasn't straight up about romance, it's still passion, but it's a different type of passion. And while there still may have been a romantic interest there, what if Maddie said something like, so-and-so keeps trying to make moves on Kaylee, but Kaylee blames him for, I don't know, whatever was said to Adam isn't anything about romance. It's something about that girl that passed away and whatever she walked in and saw. And that's why it was like immediate reaction and the person going over to the house, because they couldn't risk that conversation widening about whatever that is. There's something that they have to lose themselves, and there's something that their connection or protector could also be affected by. What else can we know about updated police focus? Two of Swords in reverse, time to make a move. It's also about a conclusion. Ace of Swords in reverse. About rethinking about something, thinking of it in a different way. Taking a piece of a puzzle that they had previously, aka this girl's suicide, and fitting it into the puzzle in a different way. They're looking into this. At first, because a suicide and a murder of 4 people are not necessarily similar, I don't think they were looking into it as anything more than a coincidence at first, but something has changed that. Yeah. They're realizing that there's an underlying hostility that has been built up since that girl's passing, and they're trying to figure out how that plays into this. And it plays in because that was what that conversation with Adam was about. And okay, so now it may not have been that Adam talked to the killer directly. Maybe Adam said something to someone else that said something to the killer, because this wasn't like, oh, so-and-so wants to break up with you, or so-and-so's not interested. It wasn't like that. That kind of wasn't making sense to me before. Like, why would that be such a big deal? But if it's something that has to do with this girl's suicide and what led up to that, that's something that would be kind of talked about and spread very quickly, and want it to be silenced very quickly so it didn't keep spreading. Sorry, I know I keep saying but that's me trying to cope with this information, because that's my whole list. I want to wrap this up with what is the killer's connection to the roommate who took her life? The world. That's the missing piece of this all. That's the connection. And it's a snake wrapped around an egg. So, like, snake would be the evil, and the egg would be, like, the birth of the element that we weren't really looking into as a connection, in a way. Clarifier for that. Justice in reverse. 6 of Wands. Justice in reverse is where we are right now, with there's no justice, but there's a connection. And then 6 of Wands in reverse is about not wanting this information to get out and not wanting it to spread, and that being the cause of this. All of this is my opinion. It's reading of the energy and how I'm interpreting it. These are not facts. This is my opinion. I believe that the girl who passed away, that was the roommate, walked in on something she was not supposed to see, began getting increasingly bullied because of it, so that she would stay silent. Either so she would stay silent, or so she would make herself look like her credibility was lacking in some way. Like, oh look, she's crazy, she doesn't know what she's talking about, that kind of thing. And whatever Maddie had said that night had something to do with information about that. Maybe because of the anniversary of it being near. And that information somehow got back to the person who was walked in on by the roommate. And that person realized that the only way to stop this information from continuing to spread would be from silencing the person or people who were currently spreading the information, which that night would have been Maddie. I really still do feel like it was about Kaylee, so it was either something Kaylee was told or something she was involved in personally. Again, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but let's just say for the sake of this, it's something that Kaylee heard, that Kaylee told Maddie, and then Maddie said something to someone else. They were being silenced that night. Just 2 cards to wrap everything up. Actually, I'm gonna pull these ones. I'm gonna pull 2 of these to wrap everything up. Drugs may be an important factor in the case. Last one. Killer profile indicates narcissist or sociopath. I need some time to process all of this. I hope everyone has a safe and happy and healthy holiday break, whatever you celebrate. I hope you enjoy it. Hug your loved ones tightly, and I will see you guys soon.